Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman, and we are back with the game. We have DrakeArron playing full faction Savage Tundra here. And then we've got grandpa69 playing full faction Kathir Forest. Wow, that is not a visual in my head I wish to have. But we've got crystals here for DrakeArron, bringing some shiny boys. And then I guess Grandpa is playing probably elves, KF good stuff, I'm not sure. But yeah, this could literally be anything with just these deploys. But it seems like DrakeArron has declined to deploy a second champion on this map. Understandable, I guess. I mean, he's going first, but he dropped the halberd in his font, which, I don't know, to me is not the best decision. It will probably impact his next few deploys. Like, halberd is great to get out, but, I mean, the 30 Nora swing this early in the game, especially if you're going first, it will really put you behind on tempo, and I don't think he has a 7 speed. Like, in ST, there aren't too many cheap 7 speeds, like, you can rush for this font. Like, if you're playing crystals, I can't remember if Yeti has the +1 speed upgrade still. But it seems like he went for the initiative. He has the initiative deploy, and Snowcharger Cavalry promptly takes that font. Okay, so he was a little more thorough in his planning than I initially anticipated. But he is in there now, and ooh man, that marksman, it has mobility from provision, so it will be able to get away. The problem here is normally the marksman could hide like behind this vegetation or in the water or whatever to prevent the charge. But Snowcharger has Mountaineer, so that's out of the question. And I played a little bit with the new Snowcharger. I think it's probably one of the mid-range knights. It's not as crazy as I think the FS1 is, or the Underdepths Knight I think is probably in that same ballpark. The ST1 is kind of just a ball of even more a ball of stats than the others. I think Warmonger is supposed to be a downside, but in ST when your HP stats are so high and beasts have like healing from Beast Tamer or whatever, the negative defense is not too big an issue. Plus you got quest kill for the additional +1, so you basically get offset a little bit from taking vigilance and from the quest and all that. So Warmonger just ends up being a bunch of free damage, and if you can take initiative on him, win these early game deploys, that's pretty good. Seems like we might see archers here from Grandpa. Camaraderie on the Snake Charmer, no boost, so beasts are probably out of the question. And the way Aaron here is posturing, there's probably a high chance he's going to get into this font, or at least try to. There is a cheesy play where he gale forces his Wolverine over the I was going to say lava, over the river, and contests right away, but that might be a little too bold even for Aaron here. I think like in a 1v1, Crystal Wolverine does pretty well, but when the reinforcements are able to get to this font fairly fast, like on this map, the Wolverine might end up biting off more than he can chew, more than he can claw. Constrictor Serpent is here to put the squeeze on this Wolverine if he dares approach. But Snowcharger Cavalry sitting back is an interesting choice. That I'm guessing Aaron's going to want to wait until reinforcements arrive, but with the way he sped out of that shrine deployment zone, I figured he was going to be all up in Grandpa's face. And versus 2 ranged units, sitting back is not really what you want to be doing, especially when Vigilance here is just going to waste completely because he's not in combat. So, I mean, Grandpa can get some free pot shots at him in the meanwhile, and a deadly tracker. Okay, so it looks like it will be archers for Grandpa. Poison, strike. Archers have a lot of damage over time shit. They got illuminate and burn and chill on this guy, poison here. So they can really stack up the poke damage. And what I'd like to see changed at some point in the future is fire for effect. Because to me, fire for effect is supposed to be archers, like signature, not really power turn spell, but it's supposed to be something unique to them. It doesn't really do all that much. Like, it just gives 2 ranks of burn and +1 AP, which is, fine. It's just not all that interesting. And burn on all of your champions is significantly less useful than burn on just a few of them, because burn can't stack. And especially, like, Light of the Circle already has burn, so you lose out on that. I think Arrow Singer also has burn. But the Snowed In here from Aaron, Honestly, I'm going to say it. That was a total waste of Nora. I don't really see the point of Snowed Inning there. Usually, Snowed In is a great spell to encumber either encroaching forces or to prevent a retreat. In this case, this is a standoff, like in this mid font. You wouldn't really cast Snowed In here unless you were planning on engaging, because otherwise, yeah, you dumped some snow on them, and you also dumped 30 Nora down the tubes. It didn't really change his plays, is what I'm trying to say. Like he's just gonna sit back regardless. Now, if he tries to go in for this kill, like he can get a charge, but that alone won't do much. Honestly, I would still favor going in, because like at least you're forcing some kind of action. Like here, you're just gonna get poked back. And if he was waiting on reinforcements, it's going to be a while now that he's already dumped 60 Nora into tempo hits. But Grandpa keeping that Wolverine out of his font as best he can. That's a good position for the snake to be in. It blocks him over here, it blocks him over here. It doesn't block him completely, of course. It can contest with a relic, but that's probably the best place you could have put that snake. And Snake Charmer waiting in the wings to do some healing. So we'll see if Aaron can capitalize on whatever minor advantage he's accrued. Ooh, there's that. Wait a minute. What the hell was that positioning? Bruh, look at that tusk. Look at how far away it spawned from old Azerin over here. How the hell did he get it that far in the fight? He moved his snow charger, his cavalry, very deliberately to block that deploy. So I'm guessing he's played a bit with this deck and knew where the position would go. I feel like this should be like more over here or over here if these spaces are blocked. I have no idea why it chose to deploy Tusk so far ahead. But I mean, that's lucky, if anything. I mean, he's right in the thick of it now. And the Snow Charger actually leveraging that Snowed In very nicely at this point. Now, the Marksman has mobility, but you can't really escape this way because now Tusk is blocking. Like, Tusk is just going to be in this path right here. So the only real place for Grandpa to escape to is back towards the shrine, but he has to keep something in the font. So we'll see. Maybe he can do something to this Snow Charger. I'm guessing a blinding. What is it? Blinding. Yeah, Radiant Blow will blind the Snow Charger. That'll probably come up here. But we'll see. Maybe Aaron already has his Cleansing Storm revealed. Blinding Reflection. Now, in my opinion, Blinding Reflection is the go-to cleanse pick for ST. There aren't too many situations where you want to cleanse more than one champion. Radiant Blow, of course, blinding in an AoE is one such situation, but Blinding Reflection also creates illusions. You can use them for knockback and blocking, and it's cheaper, so it's generally... I like it more than Cleansing Storm. And here we're going to see a couple of equips and spells go down. The Ancestral Anger is a really nice tool for archers because it turns your archers melee. Like it sets your range to 1. And now with the Berserker, he might just have enough. He doesn't quite have enough for a kill, but it does bring the cavalry down pretty low. And that is a murder, by the way, on the Light of the Circle. So Light of the Circle is in it to win it. She's focused on the killing right now. She's got her sights fixed on that cavalry and is planning to murder some chunky beasts. Usually you really see this on Ash because he can stack up the charges a lot quicker, but in general for archers it's pretty nice. It gives Strike and then Nora Thief for some additional manipulation. But Azerin here with Larusa's Staff, this is a nice change, I believe, compared to what it used to be where you just spam spells and give your champ, super stats. It gives loyalty if you're ranged, which is a little bit better, a little bit more controlled than what it used to be. And I've often considered putting it on like Jackeye Elders or Frost Queens or something, or Jackeye Heretics maybe, because Tempo and Spell Swallower help against, it helps deter spell casting, and then the stat buff is okay. So here we're going to see some herding of the beasts. I have no idea what are you doing with this Wolverine, bro? You were in position to get in that font, and he just decided to nope the hell out. He's afraid of the snake. He doesn't want to get squeezed. He's being terrified by that tiny little serpent. Now, I mean, the serpent can maybe go in for a contest of his own with a relic on that font. I think Wolverine hasn't really done anything for Aaron this game. He's just kind of sitting back, not getting Thirst for Battle stacks. Meanwhile, Tusk going on a rampage through Grandpa's backline, pushing that snake charmer off to the side, just sticking his big old mastodon ass in the face of these elves. And that's a really nice position for Tusk to be in, squeezed between two big chunguses. That Solstice marksman. Actually, I mean, the marksman isn't doing too bad for himself. He's going to get a kill here on the cavalry. It was a shame that Aaron couldn't work out a quest kill. But, I mean, did he even... Like, what did he do? I guess he just basic attacked. He didn't have, like, Gale Force or anything. Probably, because he's been wasting too much Nora. Oh, don't tell me he cast another Snowed In somewhere. Oh, please. I mean, LaRussa's staff is only, like, 30 Nora. He maybe should have had more for some spell action. But cavalry going down without too much of a fight. And then the Ranger Elite, are you an Archer? No, I guess he's just running this for protective, and... Honestly, in Archers, it's not too bad because Protective triggers on all Elves, and all of your Archers are going to be Elves, and it's, you know, it's a fast melee champion that can also hit from range if it wants. So definitely a good pick in this deck, and Solstice Marksman gathers some tasty, tasty globes. Now Tusk is very alone. He was getting pinched, or he was doing the pinching, and now he's getting his ass pinched in return. By the dirty old man, Grandpa. And Deadly Tracker gonna get a couple hits, more stacking of the dots. And Aaron not in a great position. He's getting outnumbered on the board. He's losing a mid-font. He's burned Nora on useless things. He's broke. He's less attractive than Grandpa. He's probably struggled bussing through life, getting by on scraps and food stamps. Not too high in the IQ department, as it were, but and you know, Grandpa, he's got the experience on him. He's like Netero beating up Gon in that volleyball match, but then of course we know how that ended. Gon eventually got one at the end, so maybe Aaron can pull it back. But Constrictor Serpent here, I would just make a run for that font. Wolverine has played so passive this game. It would be a shame not to take advantage of that. And yeah, Tusk being here doesn't really make much sense. Neither does like Azarin retreating. Like, why would you want this guy in the mix? Like, you want him up in front, getting protective and attacks off. Like, you're spending all this Nora investing into buffing his damage, and you're not actually doing any attacking. So DrakeArron going for the pacifist run, while Grandpa is just cutting down these mastodons. And whatever the hell Snow Charger is, I would call it like a... Sort of reminds me of a Tanuki, but just bigger and whiter and snowier. But yeah, Grandpa taking full advantage of that mid-font, getting some nice healing off. And he's completely offset that Snowed In. Snowed In snow is so fucking annoying. Like, look at this. It's 3 AP to move one space. Like, you can't even get through to the font with the Ranger and everything. ST Snow is probably one of my favorite decks in ST. I think out of all the ST that I've played, Snow is the most, it's the most gremlin-like, and I appreciate that. Yeah, so the Elves slowly taking, and I would maybe say this is surrender territory for Drake at this point. But I mean, Snow Charger on his own is quite the beast, no pun intended. And I mean, if Azarin just gets in there, man, you just gotta get in there. You can't turtle versus archers. It's like, yeah, their range is intimidating, but you just gotta get in. You just gotta stick it to them, get in their face, and not let them harass the shit out of you like you've been doing. Because even this halberd at this point has been a waste of Nora. Motivate, giving your champions damage that they're not using. Not too good. Okay, so Wolverine's moving back. He's changing his mind. The ever indecisive Wolverine is now encroaching upon the territory of the Serpent. And yeah, that's another thing. If you just sit back like this, Snake Charmer is going to just shit out meat, and you will eventually be outnumbered on both sides. But this is kind of an intimidating force to advance upon. Like, if he just sticks that Snow Charger in the font now, like at this point, he's going to get softened. He's going to get double hit by these guys and marksman and then arrow shot and whatever. Like, where are all your champions going, bro? You're not really deploying much. And then I mean, Grandpa's played this decently well. He managed to secure that mid, and I think, like in the late game, like archers, like if you have mid here, you can just take pot shots at the shrine if you need to. Just get some archery bales down, get your arrow singer out for preparation. Bow mages. I wonder if he's running the new bow mage. I put up a real stink back when bow mage was first proposed for changes, because I was like, bow mage, how are you making bow mage a melee champion? That's so dumb. It's he has a bow. And I didn't really like the idea of making, because I mean, I've mentioned it before, but I used to run bow mage back in my KF decks, even under the auspices of him being strong, but in actuality, I kind of knew that he was weak. I just liked having him around for imbue stun. But I mean, he, like, from what I played with him now, he's still pretty good even after the hotfix nerfs. Like he's 80 Nora now, but I mean, he's got counterattack still. He can still get 8 speed. He can still get insane range. Like 1 to 6 is really damn good. Like 6 range he used to have before, but now he's 1 to 6 with a ranged stance out and then the archery bale. So he can also hit from range with lightning storm, so it's not a terrible pick, and he still has his old reliable imbue stun. So that force barrier coming in now. One thing Grandpa has to be worried about here is Gale Force. Putting down that force barrier might force a Gale out of Arron. But then the Snow Chargers don't have Hawk attack upgraded, so it's not like they can take advantage of that. Azarin can, but he's not in double hit range of anything really. But yeah, this is a nice little clump of champions here for DrakeArron's spell spam. We all know how ST and their spell spam works. Man, just get in this fucking font already. Holy shit. Wolverine, you've been completely resting on your laurels here. You took out that one Nepheri and you were like, man, I've got it in the bag. These guys have no idea what's coming to them. You've just been sitting back, coasting, you know. He's like that one-hit wonder that did like one TV show back in the day, and now he's a has-been, but he's too arrogant to realize it. He doesn't want to admit that his time is over, and he's thinking, man, these snakes have got nothing on me. Okay, he's finally making a move. Okay, he's gonna drop a suppression crystal in the font. That's nice. I've always thought this thing was really underrated in crystals. I mean, it's 25 Nora, which is pretty cheap, and then it procs all of your other luminescence abilities. So it gets like, it gets eviscerating, it gets scouring, it gets everything. And then deafening aura is nice. Ignorance, I think, is the godsend now, because there are a lot of wizard decks running around, or champions that, or decks that just utilize wizards, and Ignorance kind of neuters that. It stops them from using their abilities, and I feel like if Alakami ever notices this rune or realizes it exists, he will nerf the shit out of it. Plus 5 Nora, minus 5 HP maybe, I don't know. I don't want to give him any ideas because I do like running this. But yeah, Ignorance for free. ST doesn't have a lot of direct counters like that, but they do have Ignorance for Alakami's precious wizard decks. His little wizard gang. Now, one thing I've been wondering, Alakami is so intent on buffing wizards. Maybe it's because he's one in real life. I mean, I've seen that selfie you posted, Alakami. You do look like a haggard old wizard at the just starting to come into his own, like starting to learn his magic. And is that a rebound? What is he rebounding? Am I just dumb? Where are the equips? I guess there was murder here and the marksman's little chill bow. But why are you rebounding those things right now? Okay, I guess he rebounded them. So the equips are no more and everyone has Ponderous. Sure. I mean, Ponderous kind of helps here because it means Grandpa can't get double hits. I mean, Grandpa's still chilling. Like, he's sitting on the font, kind of being encumbered by the snow, but of course not so much for his archers because they're all ranged. And wait a minute, I hadn't scrolled all the way down here, and I was like, how the fuck did Wolverine just get one-tapped? But nah, he killed the crystal. So the snakes, I hope that wasn't a constrict. Oh, it was. Okay, so constrict still goes through the deflect. It just has to be successful, that hit. It doesn't have to actually do damage. So the constrict here, and then probably the follow-up constrict with this snake, and then meanwhile, Deadly Tracker is just pummeling Wolverine from range. Can Wolverine not take evasive anymore? I think he can still take evasive 3. Arron went with logistics, which, I mean, it's procced. I mean, Wolverine is a beast, so these guys are all beasts. And yeah, that's some not very nice positioning from DrakeArron. Radiant Blow just blinding the shit out of everybody. Yeah, Grandpa, he's sitting in his old rocking chair, just giving DrakeArron a talking to about how things used to be better in his day. Grumpy old curmudgeon, hard at work and walking up hills, walking up Kathir Hill both ways to Poxnora Elementary School. But here's going to be the imbue stun, and I'm assuming I would stun this one because these two are blinded, right? Cleansing Storm, I guess, could come out, but at that point that's more Nora, and I feel like even if you're losing a champion or two here, you're fine if you're Grandpa. But yeah, regaling DrakeArron with some stories of the old days. And trust me, I know how that feels. I'm sure you guys have been yelling at the screen a few times when I've been rambling about how, oh, this rune used to be like this, or oh, this champion used to do this. And you guys have been like, shut up, shut the hell up. I don't care. I don't care about Poxnora lore. And I haven't seen any of that in the comments before, but I'm assuming it's been happening. But I mean, so that was a really tempting Gale Force. I'm not surprised to see Aaron go for it. But like, what's his follow-up? Like, all three of his champions are CC'd. Got stun, blind, transfigure maybe? I don't know. I mean, he can get into this font, Snow Charger. But that would be, versus all this range, that would be very ill-advised. I wonder what Grandpa does versus, like, Arrow Ears. Like, what if he goes against Vothsair or Imps or something? It's a lot of anti-range. I mean, I'm assuming Bowmage and Ancestral Anger carry him in that case. I guess Ranger Elite too. But he is running the Archer Commander, so everyone gets Rain of Arrows rank 1. Volley Leader is an interesting ability. I don't see it utilized that much. Archer Commander has it base, of course, but rank 1 Rain of Arrows is not that strong. It does stack, so if you have multiple Volley Leaders out, you can eventually get to rank 3. But that's a lot more clumping than I'd like from archers. And I don't know, I could maybe see it getting buffed in the future with something more interesting. Maybe like a rank of Rain of Arrows and a rank of Barrage, and then make it not stackable. But just to facilitate the main archer game plan a little more. I get that the idea is sort of like a counter to like Arrow Eater or Evasive Champs, via giving your archers an AoE ability. So, just doesn't tend to be as impactful as that in practice. So there's the Grimlick's Bane taking down the Wolverine, and man, that Wolverine must be so sad. He realized it at the very last that his best days were behind him, and now he can go back to picking on weak little deep elves in Underdepths, aka Poxnora's version of hell. So, Light of the Circle getting Poke. Then Ranger Elite, are we going to see a kill? I think so. Marksman has an attack, so 15, and then yeah, Ranger Elite can get a kill on that Snow Charger. Bowmage hasn't done anything yet with his AP. So I mean, this is a great Lightning Storm positioning. And actually, Bowmage is one of the best champions to benefit from the volley, because he has Lightning Storm, he can also Rain of Arrows. So he has 2 AoE abilities now. Look at that. 2! Count them. 1 and 2. Now, that's a nice tasty globe that DrakeArron will be able to collect, but he won't get a chance because Grandpa takes the game. So well played to both, and we'll see everyone in the next one.